Now, I want to talk about some of the other impacts of our pandemic responses now, especially closed state borders that I've been pushing on, as you know, for a year or more, looking at the way some people have been traumatised by them. Now, I want to catch up with Nick Tebbey. He's the National Executive Officer for Relationships Australia. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Thank you.
We've seen some horrible cases of people separated from their children, people separated from dying relatives, families torn apart by these hard state borders. Are you still seeing those examples right around the country?
Yeah, look, I think absolutely this time, this collection of restrictions on our lives has brought about real challenges for families, for friends, for friendships, and a lot of those things are still playing out as borders are closed down. And we've seen through our clients, through people accessing our services, that this means that there are challenges that they need help addressing, and accessing services to receive the support to help process what's happening to them.
Has it placed strains on marriages and relationships around the country?
Look, a combination of all of the different pressures that COVID has brought has definitely meant that relationships have been under strain. We've seen it throughout the last 18 months, working from home, schooling from home, not being able to travel. Combine all of that with the uncertainty around the situation, and yes, that has absolutely put a strain on relationships. I think the flip side is we've seen certainly some relationships come together and be stronger as a result of this, because they've found support in each other and been able to spend more time together. So certainly some of our clients and some of the people doing our completing our research have shown us that there have been some silver linings, but there's no denying that it's taken a toll on a lot of people.
And how has that toll manifested itself in your experience across the country?
Sure. I think some of the feedback that we've received through our website and through some of our online surveys is that people are under more pressure now to think about not just their own mental health, but the mental health of those around them. And so people are paying a lot more attention to mental health issues, to stress, to anxiety than perhaps they have ever before. But at the same time, people are reaching out for information or for services when they think that struggle is just getting too difficult. So we've seen an increase in people accessing our websites and our information services just for some general self-help information, but we've also seen a number of people accessing our services for counselling and other forms of relationship support and personal support throughout this period.
Do you think governments, especially state governments, have taken enough of these sorts of issues into consideration with their draconian measures around the country? We know they've been focused on eliminating COVID at all costs. Have they considered these other effects strongly enough?
Look, it's a hard question for me to answer. I don't have the information that they've had available to them in making these decisions, and I certainly can't comment, and I don't envy the jobs of making the difficult decisions that have been made. I think what's important to know is that throughout this entire period, the support services have been available for people who need it. And certainly, one of the key things that we've really emphasised and seen play out with our clients and in community is people looking for creative ways to connect and perhaps look for connection where they didn't necessarily have it before. And one of the resounding things that we're getting by way of feedback at the moment is that people are using a lot more technology. They're taking advantage of the services that are available, but also taking advantage of whatever the permissible outdoor activity or trip to the takeaway or whatever it might be.
Indeed. Picnics are big.
To make sure they get something. Yeah.
Picnics are back, big time.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Nick. I appreciate it.
Real pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Nick Tebbey there from Relationships Australia. Obviously, some of these problems, some of these measures are creating strains on relationships. My wife and I haven't had a disagreement for 3 months because we've been separated by state borders, but hopefully we'll get back together this weekend.